Hola Comadres, welcome to the 10th episode of Comadreando. I'm your host Marcy. This is our mid-season finale before we go on our baby hiatus for the holiday season. You guys get to enjoy time with your family. You know it's very important to me, and what better way to go on break than to bring on my following guest. Our special guest today is Nemo, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. Who are you?
Ew, I'm Nemo or whatever. It's not Cardi, but just Nemo. The curl plug on Instagram. Follow me. Six line dulce when I'm baking. What's up with the what's up? Thank you, Marcy, for having me. Um, I'm a comedian. I'm a sister. Unfortunately, an employee somewhere, but we
We
here.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
followers,
followers,
listeners,
listeners,
people,
people,
gente.
gente. So I know Nemo because we're actually both part of the same social club. We're part of the Mami Chulas. And we were also actors in the Vagina Monologues. And my friend Nemo was one of the angry vaginas.
I
So
sure was.
we grew closer together. I mean, I had been following her on Instagram for a long time until we met in person. Then I was like, ah! So yeah, and we've been obsessed with each other ever since. So today's topic is siblings of people with special needs, and it's one I've been curious about because my son doesn't have any siblings that he actually lives with, and I think about actually often what it would have been like for him to have a sibling that was typically developing and would be able to model things for him. So I decided to bring Nemo on to discuss that topic, and we're gonna get started.
Yes.
So, what rank are you with respect to order of children? Like, are you the older sister, the younger sister?
I'm the younger sister.
Oh, you
My
are.
sister's older than me. She's 33, I'm 30.
Oh, okay. So three years
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me about your sister. What's her diagnosis?
So she's mentally impaired. She's laying right across my living room so I get to look at her for inspiration. She's mentally impaired and in other words, I don't like using the word mental retardation, but mentally impaired and suffers from epilepsy. And pretty much it's like living with a 7-year old forever, but that's quirky and that has a sense of humor and has been through a lot. And yeah, you know, I'm really passionate about this particular topic. Um, I appreciate anybody that like ever asks me, "Hey, how's your sister?" I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you." You know that she exists because she does, and she's a very huge part of my life. She's a huge part of how I've developed, like the person I am today. So, and what developed the character Nemo, and and the inspiration behind a lot of things that I do, and the reason why I go so hard the way I do.
Yeah.
She's the inspiration behind all that. So
She's so lucky to have you.
I'm lucky to have her, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have her. Having people with disabilities in your life makes a huge difference. And don't get me wrong, people naturally have egotistical thoughts and unconsciously, the why me thoughts, the damn, I wish things were better thoughts, damn, I wish it wasn't her thoughts. But you learn from that and you grow from that and you gain strength from that. And all you could do is move forward, and learn how to adapt and learn how to apply it for the better.
I really love that Nemo. I kind of touched on that a little bit in the last episode that I recorded. I discussed, you know, we're up, right? We're up. We're on it. We're doing the things. We're taking care of the people that we love, and we're there for them. But then we are human, and
Yes.
we have those moments that are just kind of like, wow, man, why me? Like, why did it have to be me? And I shared in the last episode that I recorded was God wouldn't give you this if they didn't know that you would be able to handle it and that you would be able to provide that support for your sibling, or your child. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like being that for your sister, because it's kind of like, I wanna say that you became the older sister.
I did.
Am I? Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. So being from, like, I don't even know how you call it. My mom is from DR. She's full blown Dominican, migrated to the United States for a better life. And unfortunately, my sister. So the way my sister's condition started, she caught meningitis when she was a year and a half years old,
Oh, wow.
and that's what kind of rolled out the impairments, the epilepsy, like so many things came after that that affected her. My sister was born a perfectly normal baby, and then at 1.5 that happened. She was in a coma for 9 months.
Oh my God.
They told my mom she was going to be a vegetable. And today, on today's day, 2021, she dances, she walks, she talks. She is anything but a vegetable. She eats a vegetable if she needs to. She's bilingual. Like, if you speak English to her, she'll speak Spanish to you. If you speak Spanish to her, she'll speak English to you. She'll mind fuck you too. Excuse my language for the viewers or listeners. But she'll do that too. Like, and I'm like, why? You know how to speak English? She's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, what? But from a young age, imagine being 6, 7 years old, being fluent in Spanish and learning English in school, because Spanish was my first language because I learned it at home. And then going to Head Start, that's when, I started speaking English because I was in school. My sister was barely speaking. So I was doing most of the talking. And but my mom made it her business. Like, she bought us alphabet. She did everything she had to do to prepare us, and at least prepare me. And then being 7, going to a freaking doctor's appointment, explaining what happened to my sister on behalf of my mom, going to the SSI to explain what's up with my sister on behalf of my mom. Like, and I was forced to be this, okay, and by the time I was 9, I was cursing people out in case they had something to say to my mother. Like, so it got to that point as well. Like, I had to be a little sophisticated. Like, yes, sir, Nancy, this, oh, she needs to learn English. Well, you need to shut up. How about that? Yeah, you caught the right one. I'm sure I'm little and all that, but I would jump up and punch you in your face. What's up? So I've been that person, the problem solver,
Yeah.
of the crew. And yeah, that's been my life. That's been my life, protecting them and making sure they're good.
Wow. I so much of your story resonates with me because, like, I had to be the cultural broker, and I was actually the older sister, but doing all of that, like, you just gave me flashbacks, and I didn't have a sibling with special needs, so I can imagine that added layer of complexity to your situation when you were younger, and having to be in that position. How did that affect you, like your actual childhood? Were you allowed to be a kid?
I was allowed to be a kid. I played with my sister all the time.
Okay.
And my mom would dress us up alike, buy little cute outfits, and me and my sister would always sit here and play. She bought us both. So one thing I appreciate about my mom, she never treated one more or less than. Neither one of us. Both were equally accountable for our actions, for our what we said, what we thought. Like, everything was equal in this household. So that I appreciated, because I learned to appreciate my sister. And whenever God forbid, my sister dropped something or something, like, we both spoke in the third person. So I got that from her, because my sister would be like, Isa did that.
Oh.
And sometimes my mom would get like upset because Dominicans, ellos son bocones. "Ay, muchacho, da, 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 da." And I'm like, yeah, no, Jenny did it. Jenny did it. I did it. So, by the way, guys, my name is Jennifer. Don't ever call me that because I won't acknowledge you. Call me Nemo, thanks. Back to the story. Anyway, disclaimer. But yeah, it was like that. Like we had a normal childhood. We had toys. My mom would my mom did everything for us as far as make sure that we were happy, make sure that we were educationally learning, and I would teach my sister stuff, and it was just I would go to school conferences with my mom, but it was never I never and that's a great question because I've never been asked that, and now that I thinking about it, like I never felt, how can I say, I never felt like burdened with that task, with being like, okay, I really am the younger sister, but I have to act like the older sister, and like I know what the hell I'm talking about half of the time, and I have to take responsibility for this, and I have to always watch over her, and I have to protect her, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. But I never took it as a task, as like, oh, this is a job, or this is what understand what I'm saying? Like I was never forced to do anything, but instead I just saw, okay, it's only me, my mom, and my sister. If my mom is doing something, let me help my mom with my sister. It was like that. And we would keep each other occupied. And the thing is that me and my sister, we actually have a very, very, very loving relationship.
Yeah,
So
it's you guys together.
Yeah, like she's very loving. Like she'll give me kisses on the cheek, she gives me hugs, and she tells me how much she loves me. I'll tell her how much I love her. Then we'll joke around. Then she asks me if she looks pretty today. Like she's conceited too. Like, and that's the thing. Like, like it was never bad having that. At times, I would get frustrated whenever she would get sick, whenever her health was being affected. But other than that, like having her here was never like, ugh, it was never that. It was never that.
Nemo. You're such a good
Yeah.
sister.
Thank you.
Wait, so since you say you're Sophista Ratchet,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you ever go fisticuffs with somebody?
Oh, I sure did. Yup. No, Kane looked at her.
Wait, you gotta tell me the whole story. You can't just tell me.
Like looked at. No, I had various altercations with certain people. I could give you a few stories if you need me to. Like, I've had times, like, until this day. Like, if I'm walking down the street with her and somebody's staring at her a little too long. Excuse me, you know her? You owe her some money? What's up with get out her face? But growing up, it was more so like they would try to make fun of her, and like my sister couldn't be left alone for too long. So sometimes I'll probably be going to my mom real quick. She's like in the jungle gym, and I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. And then I'll go get some water or something, and I see kids surrounding her, and I'll go up there, I'll run, and I'm like, all right, what's the problem? Like I'll get in front of her, like, what's the problem? And my sister tell me, oh, she called me this one, this, and I ping, pam, pum, and I'll just start fighting with everybody.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like there was this one time, it was like 3 little girls. They tried to jump me, and I fucked them up.
How old are you when that happened?
I was like 10. I was like 10. Around that age. I was like around 10. Yeah, I was like 10. And I just grabbed them one by one, and then one was trying to like pull my hair, and then when I saw one got weak, I grabbed the one from the back. Like when it comes to my sister, I'm like, I see red. I see red, and that's it. I turn into a bull. I'm a Pisces, and I turn into a whole Taurus. Like, what's up with the what's up? Like, I turn into a bull. I see red.
You're about that life.
I really, when it comes to her, yes. When it comes to my mom and my sister. But my sister, somebody that's indefensive, like she's not. My sister won't ever. My sister has manners. My sister says, "Please, thank you. You're welcome. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming." Like my sister has manners, like things that normal, like people that have no disability don't have. My sister has common sense. Like there's certain things that she's like she'll even tell her home health aides, like, don't touch that. That's my sister's.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's just you're trying to harm something, so she's harmless. So it's like, no, are you crazy?
And it really yanks my chain. Like when people are just mean to
Right.
people with special needs. Like, so there was this so we're Dominican, and I'm not to shit on our culture, but there's people that are really uneducated, especially when it comes to people with special needs. And
Absolutely.
I remember Aiden was small, and people in my family were still like wrapping their head around, and I'm not talking about my nuclear family, like, extended family. And they were wrapping their head around Aiden's disability. And Aiden, his thing is that he doesn't think about consequences. He'll act in the moment, and it's not intentional. He's not trying to be aggressive or whatever it is. He's just whatever whatever the stimuli is, he's trying to get it to stop. And sometimes that can look like, like really hugging you really tightly to kind of get you to, like, especially if you're crying, like if a kid is crying and screaming, he'll hug them tightly, not because he wants to like break, like,
right. No, I understand that.
He's like trying to protect them and like soothe them, but it comes off as aggressive.
Right.
So or he doesn't know how to say it. I think you're pretty, or I like you. So he'll be like, can I listen to your belly? He'll be like, can I listen to your belly? Or he'll say, I want to pull her hair. And I'm like, listen, this is not how you're going to bag girls. Like, you can't be coming over here pulling nobody's hair. So he did this at a party, and a family member of mine started talking a lot of stuff about him. So, I went in, and like it was a birthday party, and he was in a jungle gym. So I had to like climb up there and like get him down and talk to him, and like he didn't really understand what was going on. I want to say he was like 4 years old, and
that's a crucial stage, because they're really in between of getting out of that like toddler stage, but they're still kind of stuck in it because of the disability. So it's kind of hard to like kind of like, okay, come on, you're becoming a big kid now. Like, come on, like you should, but it's not that you should anything. With people with disability, it's not you should anything. It's what you can.
Yeah.
Do you understand this? Can you understand this? Can you understand where I'm coming from? Like
this family was talking hella.
Please tell me you smacked or something. Please tell me.
I did it because I'm not a physically
person. Can I? Like, do you need me to? Because Nemo will come in real quick.
The person has changed. They're like, I feel like they've read more or whatever, but they're like, oh my God, that kid, blah blah blah, and I was just like, I was so angry that I started crying. And the thing is with me, when I get frustrated and I cry with situations like that, it's not because I'm sad. I'm crying because I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
I don't want to have the cops called on me because I do something to put myself in danger, because at the end of the day, I'm all my kid has,
Right.
So I lovingly checked this person, and I told them about themselves. And that was the end of that. But it's stepping in to defend this person, and I find myself doing this for like random people in the street. There was a man with autism on the train. He was in I think he was like going to Columbia University, because I remember seeing his badge. And there was a group of kids like making fun of him. And when he got off that train, I told them about themselves and a little bit more. I was like, first of all, and I like read them to filth, and they were so embarrassed. I was like, that is not how you treat people that are different than you. You need to be more considerate of their experiences, and the fact that you're making fun of them and they might not take it like that. Because if you think about your sister and my son, like, they're innocent. They're not taking it like, oh, you're being sarcastic or you're making fun of me, and you're being a jerk, let me get away from you. It's, they're gonna stay there,
right, and take it. And
go ahead.
That's a lot. I see your face, and like it's a lot. It's a lot, because I've done that too. I've done like even when I started going into like elementary school, middle school, and the yellow bus. You know, like the hype. Like if you're not from New York, if you're listening and you're not from New York, in New York, you have public transportation where children can take public transportation to go to school. And automatically, if you were seen on a yellow bus or a white bus, if it was a bus, you were automatically considered some type of, you were looked at differently because you can't get yourself to school. And automatically, it was assumed you were of special needs. And 9 times out of 10, if you look into the bus, there was it was special needs kids. And I remember like stopping people from like trying to like throw things at a bus, like a passing bus with like an ill child inside. And I'm like, seriously? Like, and I've cursed people out for it. Like, I'm not as nice as you, Marcy. You're a better person than I am, probably guaranteed. 9 times out of 10, sis. 9 times out of 10. Because I ain't shit, and I admit that all day, every day. But the thing is, one thing about me is that I'm very honest and I'm very transparent, and the way things come out, they come out as you know how they're in my head.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of growing. I've learned how to filter tad bit. You know, I use filters on IG on my face, not on my mouth, but I mean, I'm working on it. And it's something that I do recognize because I sometimes I sometimes need a chill button because I'll just say what I need to say. And
Yeah.
sometimes not everybody's receptive to what you're saying. And that's come with the territory of my sister as well. And, just, telling, like, thinking of that, thinking of what if I get into an altercation and I lose my freedom for killing somebody because I blacked out?
Yeah.
Who will my mom and my sister have? And this is what kind of turned me away also from the street, like being a street person.
Yeah.
And not, just being out there was not something that was appealing to me because I felt that it would put me in jeopardy of no longer being able to provide for my mother and my sister. Then what will happen to them?
And that's real.
Like it's like really like what will happen to them? Have I had my street fight? Sure. When I was a child. Now as an adult, I really have to ask myself, do I care enough to even give you that type of energy? Because if I do give you that energy, it's not the energy you think like it's really on some real staticky shit and it's about to get retarded. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just like, and that's the thing, like one thing I did learn about myself, having my sister being the way she is, I don't I don't have patience. I don't She taught me that, but I don't have it. It is non-existent. And I have a really, really, really bad temper. Like I have okay, no, it's not a temper. I'm not going to call it a temper. It's low tolerance for bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just certain things don't fly with me. Certain remarks, it's just no. So I'd rather not, like I'd rather it's either I'm gonna be around you, or I'm not gonna be around you at all. I'm not gonna kind of be around you, but you are a shitty person. I can't do that. Because as a shitty person, then me naturally as an empath, and I'm gonna become a shitty person. Then I'm gonna have to tell you. Then it escalates. You understand what I'm saying? Like it escalates, and it's just no, absolutely no. So I've learned how to, select the people who I'm around, select who I want around me, select who I let people into my sister's lives, because not everybody's vibes are good vibes,
Yes.
and that I'm a true believer in that. There's this one lady that would come to my house, and every time she comes to my house, she means well, but I don't know what thing she has on her, that she comes to my house, and the moment she comes to my house, my sister, it's like moments later my sister's catching a seizure. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what triggers it. I don't know si que no se ha bañado. Yo no sé lo que es, Marcy. Yo no sé lo que es. Pero it's every time this lady comes into my house, my sister catches a seizure.
Y'all need to start staging when she leaves.
No, it's gotten to a point I don't open the door. I don't open the door. My mom opens the door, that's on her, but I'm not opening the door because I know who it is. So that's the thing. Like there's just certain things I don't want around her. I don't want around my sister. And that goes also in reference to men, my dating life,
Mm-hmm.
introducing that part of my life to a man, understanding I don't have kids, but this is my package though. I do come with a
Yeah,
package, and it's either you accept it or you don't. It's
that is
it
so
comes down
real.
to that too, because that's also like a lot of people don't realize it's also difficult. And I've had people tell me like, that she's not your responsibility. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, she's your mom's child, she's not your child. I'm like, yeah, but I'm her guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, God forbid something happens to my mother who's stuck with her, you think I'm gonna institutionalize her? Is that what's next for her?
No.
And a lot of people don't realize that. I was like, well, you can. I'm like, why would I, when I'm perfectly well and capable of taking care of my sister?
Yeah.
And I can still live a perfectly normal life with my sister being there to live a normal life with me. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Because that's the first. I feel like when it comes to special needs, anybody, I feel like the first thing is they look at institutions, or they look how to rid of them. And it's like I think about like I've thought about it. Like I've thought about what would my sister do in an institution? Like who would she tell that something hurts her? Or what if a freaking a male nurse or something, or a male staff member sees her? And my sister has a body on her, and those are the kind of individuals that get the most rape, that get the most, like, no, like I can't like I would really kill somebody if somebody were to touch my sister inappropriately like that.
Oh man.
And these are things that we have to think about and prepare ourselves for, because it can happen. It can happen in a school, it can happen in a day program, it can happen in anywhere. It can happen in a hospital if she's admitted and you can't stay and you got to go, and you understand, like it can happen. But you have to be prepared for things like that. And you
Yeah.
have to like kind of really weigh out your options. What are your options? Like if something is, my sister can walk, my sister talks, my sister, you understand what I'm saying? This is not something where we're like turning and positioning and we have to change diapers. And even if that's what we have to do, then we got to do it. We may need help, but it's going to have to get done. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably went off topic and
No,
derailed,
it's
but when
fine.
it comes to girl, I
Wait,
could go
Nemo, can we
on.
take one pause? Don't go anywhere.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm back. So,
It's okay.
yo estoy cocinando.
Oh, no, que me la robo. You know that I was just telling my mom that my mom was making, I don't know what. ¿Qué tú hiciste? She said queso frito and something else. And all I hear is shh. And I'm like, ay, Dios mío, this freaking recording. Everybody, well, at least we're not starving.
No,
Like, we're not starving. So, pero, excuse the background noise. This is a regular household.
So going back to, you touched on an important point. Like, I sent Aiden to these overnight camps, and the first thing that I thought about is like, because Aiden's a good-looking kid. People like him, and he's sweet, and he doesn't necessarily tell me if something happens. So I am hyper vigilant to the point that the day camp is in like South Jersey. I took a 1.5-hour trip to go see what the heck is out there, and the sleeping arrangements, and who's he gonna be with. Like, not only do I worry about things like that, like assault, but I also worry about who's gonna be supervising him, because I know I'm on him like white on rice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my house is structured to the point that he's not in danger if he's hanging out in his room or in the kitchen or wherever. You know what I'm saying? But like, I needed to calm my anxiety down and like make sure that he was gonna be okay. And then you talked about another point that you made is, I'm a package deal. Like, if I'm with somebody, I need to make sure that person is gonna be taking receptive and taking and sensitive to the fact that my child has needs that other children don't have. And even though he is independent and he's getting there, is it's just, como te digo, it's just the way that they treat your child, it has a lot. Like I observe that a lot. So
I do too. I observe how anybody talks to my sister.
yes,
Like, how are you speaking to her? Like, what is it that you're saying to her? And when you are around, do you acknowledge that she's around, or did you just act like, oh hey, like what is it? Because that says a lot about you. And God, the thing is that now things like I mentioned in the beginning of this segment, my sister was born a regular child. Who would think that their child at 1.5 years old, a baby, a newborn, anything after they come out, everything is fine, 10 toes, 10 fingers, that they're gonna, have something as severe as meningitis and have it completely turn their life upside down. So my thing is, if God forbid we have children, then what? That's been another fear of mine. I'm 30 years old. I have no children. There's a lot of points as to why I don't have kids. One, because my responsibility to my sister and my mom. Also, you know, I don't. It's just us three. I'm not gonna tell my mom, hey, I gotta go to work and you watch the baby for me. You know, my child won't have an actual aunt, so I can't be like, hey, can you go take care of your niece or nephew? No, you know. And then I think of the scare of, God forbid something happens to my kid, and now we have two babies, and we're repeating history. Or now I'm a single mother. What do I do? I saw my mom go through it.
wow, yeah,
And I saw how much she went through. How it affected her. My mother literally, she stopped being a woman to be a mother. And in the last 30 years, my mom has not had a man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she hasn't brought a man to this house like, hey, this is my boyfriend. This is my soon to be husband. No. Because what she did was she made it her priority that she was going to be a mother and she was going to protect her two girls till her last breath. And she made sure of that. And she made sure that we were never in danger, that we were never in any situation where we could have been harmed, where there was never a situation that somebody could have taken advantage of us. Like, it was no. Mom, can I stay? No. That's a real thing. You guys see it as a meme, but it's a real thing. Mom, can I sleep over my friends? No. Why? Because ellos hay hombre ahí y uno nunca sabe.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't even want me going to people's houses. Like, I'm like, Mom, can I just... No. Tell them to come over here. You got the Barbie doll house. You got the little car. You got all of that. Tell them to come over here. No.
Wait, my mom used to say something. Uno no sabe lo que baila se mueve en casa ajena.
Exacto. Yeah. Like, my mom used to say... My mom still says más refranes, pero she was like, bueno, luego eso que te toquen una vaina. Ay, no. No, tú no vas para allá. No. And it was just... That's it. No.
Yeah.
So, I don't... I'm scared to have kids. I am scared to have children. I am scared. I will admit, you're hearing it here first. I'm scared to have kids. I am petrified to have a child or children for many reasons. But I'd be scared. I'm scared. I would be scared I don't like, okay, I know I'm strong. I'm very independent, very outspoken. I'm very me. But I don't know if I have the same kind of strength to go through what my mom went through. My mom is a G. Like, my mom, the way I look at my mother, like, ¿qué tú necesitas? ¿Qué tú quieres? I give her the world, bro, because she went through it, but she got it done. Her head is still held high, her dignity intact, and can't nobody point at her and say, that lady anything. That lady's not a hoe. That lady's not this. I'm just saying, like,
No, of
no
course.
offense to no hoes on here, whatever, girl, do your thing. But this is not about that. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're not saying that. You understand what I'm saying? They're not saying, oh, that lady right there, she's scandalous, she's drunk, she this, they're not saying that. And she did that, like, battling depression, her herself having her medical conditions. Because my mom is a diabetic. She's been a diabetic since she was a child herself, with heart problems. Like, I don't know if I have that type of strength.
Mm-hmm.
That's petrifying when you really think about it and you put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen, but you don't know. You would want to think that things are going to happen the way you want them to, but, I thought that by Christmas I'll be a millionaire. We have a few days left. Let's see what's up. Like, but worst case scenario, I'm gonna still be working for the man. Like, and that's just what it is. But with bringing another child and bringing a human being into this world, that's petrifying to me.
Yeah. I talked about this in the last episode, and people are always like, they're like, Aiden's going to high school next year, so what are the plans? Are you having more children? And I'm just like,
Bro.
First of all, I was like 24 when I got pregnant. I had him by the time I was 25, and I feel like the time that I was supposed to be wild, not wild, but I mean, I had fun in my 20s. But the time that I was supposed to be traveling and getting to know the world and all that stuff, I spent being a mother.
Right.
So I don't think I'm ready to start all over again, start changing diapers. And not only that, but then like you said, it's petrifying. Like,
it is.
I was looking at the statistics when I was pregnant, and basically it said that the likelihood of me having another kid with autism is very high after the first one comes out with autism. So for me,
that's scary.
That is scary. There's nothing wrong. I love my son. Do I want to do it all again with another child? That's to be seen, And I get you. And let me tell you, and you haven't even read that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. If you want scary movies or something scary to read that. Because it's like your kid's the size of a pea, and this could go wrong, and these things can happen. And it's like,
I might not get pregnant. Nope. I might not just get pregnant.
No, I mean, but the thing is, you gotta take both sides of the coin. So
right.
You might have a perfectly healthy kid. I mean, there's ways to find out. You can do genetic studies and things like that to see if that's something that can happen. But yeah, like I totally agree with you.
Right.
So I had a question.
Okay.
Has your sister has Isa ever asked you about her disability, or
she has,
like, why am I different? Like, questioning it.
She has, but it was so the way that happened, and I remember that very vividly because I cried a lot, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think I'd have to explain this to her. But it was something along the lines. I remember she came home, she was upset from school. Little girl was like bothering her and shit, like throwing shit at her, and she kind of didn't know how to defend herself from the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And finally the little girl started calling her like names and stuff. Crazy, you're retarded.
Oh my god.
And she came home and she like, and I'm like, what's wrong with her? Like, trying to figure it out. And I called her. She was in her room. She was in the room, and she was sitting in her bed, and she was crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? And she's like, well, somebody told me today that I'm ugly, and that I'm retarded, and that I'm crazy. Is that true? Is that true? Like, and I'm just like, where is this little bitch so I could off her head? Because it's like,
wow.
Like, and I'm like, no, you're fine. And, and I feel like she doesn't, understand her condition. She knows that she has to take meds. She knows that she gets seizures. She doesn't call them seizures. She calls them, I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't understand. Like so typically a regular individual that suffers from epilepsy, I've noticed that they can see when an aura is coming in and they're about to get it. So my sister is like, she can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to really like watch her. And I can tell now, like I can tell when she's like at the verge or very close to one, like she's fragile. Then I'm like, okay, mom, like tenemos que tener cuatro ojos because her eyes are low. She looks a little disoriented and stuff. She's very like low animo, and she doesn't want to eat something, or she's talking a little slurred. I already know there's something going on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's either coming or eventually it's gonna get it's the seizure happens and bang. um and so I'm sorry, it's the water. I can't have it's just a lot of a lot going on right now. um so yeah, so it's never been a real like discussion as like why am I like this. But there has been times that she has asked me, like, am I crazy? Am I stupid? Am I retarded? Like, because she's had like, and now she's someone, she stays home full time. We had a situation a few years ago where she was in an adult day program, and
Mm-hmm.
they failed to let us know that they were having budget cuts, and that um they didn't tell us that they cut down on paraprofessionals. My sister went to the bathroom by herself, and as she went to the bathroom, she caught a seizure and she hit her head in the stall.
Oh my God.
Then they sent her to a hospital that they weren't supposed. It was like a mess. But after that, it was just like after that, that affected her crazy because she ended up catching like two strokes after that. It was just like we were going through a battle with her neurologist, with everybody, And like the first thing people are thinking about, like, oh, why haven't you sued? Because money's not gonna bring my money's not gonna bring my sister to being a regular adult. You understand what I'm saying? Like, money is not gonna do that for her. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You understand what I'm saying? Like, sure, having money is cool and all, but like that, like my mom always says, eso es dinero salado. Like, no. We're just trying to get her better. We need the right doctors. Like, we need to go to her insurance covers it, then we're going. Let's go. She needs to see the right neurologist. This I don't like what you're saying. This makes no sense. Because 2 + 2 always equals 4. And it's we've been through a lot when it comes to like it, because I think her biggest issue has been her epilepsy and not so much her mental impairment, because I feel with her mental impairment along the line she would have been able to learn and build on what she knows. Because of the epilepsy and the reoccurrency of it, it messes with a part of her brain where it retains short term memory. So so if she met you today, and let's say she sees you in a week and a half, which is not a really long time. Nice to meet you. But Isa, I met you already. Oh yeah? Okay. You ask her, hey, what's my name? Um, tell me. I don't know. Tell me. Like she'll get herself out of it. She's like, yeah, you ain't gonna put me on the spot. But it's affected her short term memory. She can't retain. She lives her life by routine. And she has her routine. She has a very strict regimen throughout the day that she needs to do, and if she doesn't do it, it kind of like throws her off. But it's like this is how she lives. But it's the epilepsy that has been like the biggest struggle. So it doesn't allow her. I feel like cognitively, it doesn't allow her to go further.
Yeah.
So that's why I've never gotten the real question of like, what is this? Why am I like this? Because I think if she didn't have the epilepsy, or if at one point the epilepsy would have been either like handled or like cured, there could have been a possibility that cognitively she would have gotten a little more ahead, and that question would have been a follow-up.
Mm-hmm. One of my friends actually asked me if Aiden knows that he has autism, and we haven't actually had the conversation, like directly. He's never really asked me. I mean, he's always been in a special school and has always taken the bus, but I don't know if he's aware that he's different than everybody. You know, that he knows, like the typically developing. Because I feel like everybody has something. Honestly, if we're gonna be real, everybody has something. But like, he's not like the typically developing kids, you know.
Right.
Yeah, like we haven't had the conversation. I don't know. You know, it actually makes me want to ask him. But I feel like,
what's the point? Kind of.
I don't know. Like, maybe what's
is it necessary?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not that I'm trying to hide that he has a disability from himself. I feel like he knows that he's different and that he's special, and he's okay with that. Like, it hasn't gotten to the point that somebody's like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" or something like that.
Right.
I mean, besides me, like,
I think
in the situation, like, you know.
Right. I think eventually he'll probably learn. He'll be able to learn what he does have. If somebody were to ask him, hey, you know, like, well, no, I'm autistic. Ain't nothing here to watch. Just an autistic guy walking by, you know. But yeah, I honestly don't think that's a conversation you would need to have with him, because I feel like, okay, you take him to a special needs school, but it's a school. He knows kids go to school. So to him, he's just in school. He rides the bus to go to school. Kids ride the bus to go to school. That's what kids do when they're going to school. They get on the bus and you get what I'm saying? So he will correlate still. He would probably still, within his mind, he will still try to correlate. Like, there's normalcy to that. Like, it's normal. He sees it on TV.
He's actually the special school that he's at is actually inside of a regular school, like a regular district school. So it's like his school is like on the second floor, and then he's in a regular junior high school. So he sees other kids. I don't know if they have integrated gym, but the goal of the school is for them to be with kids that are typically developing, to be able to encourage independence, and that's so the typically developing kids can be a model for them.
Right.
So they're really good about cracking down on bullying and things like that. So, you know, I've been to the school several times, and I'm like, I love it. Like, I feel like he's progressed more there than he did when he was in elementary school. Because it was kind of more, it was more like very, like they were in another school, but I feel like they were like more separate.
Segregated, probably segregated from like like what they would I hate using like typical. Thank you. Like the typical kids. It's I see what you're saying. That was like my sister's high school. My sister's high school, I think she went to IS 129 or something like that. But they had a very high percentage, or 729. I don't remember the damn name of the school, but the school she went to, her high school was like her junior high school was just like that, where they had like a regular ed, and then they had, you know, the special ed. But I felt that the way, because of where in the Bronx it was located and the kind of kids that were going to the school, it wasn't appropriate.
Yeah.
It was too, I felt like it was way too aggressive. Like a way too, like an aggressive approach to that. You get what I mean? Like, it was just, you know, these are kids that are 9 times out of 10 coming out of a home that low poverty. They're angry already. You know, like there's living situations. So to come to a school and see somebody that doesn't look like them, or, you know, that's an easy target. Like, it was too much. So her high school was completely different. It was they kind of tried to integrate, like they had like a very small portion of like typically developed kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the school was mostly them, but they would still do things that would allow them, like, to teach them how to um integrate with,
And
humanity and
socialization.
civilization, right? And
Yeah.
survival skills and things like that. It's like it was good. For what it's worth, it was good. She was there until she was about 21, because they keep the
Mm-hmm.
kids there up until about 21, and then she graduated, and then she went to the adult day program.
Mm.
And she was in the adult day program maybe for like 2 years. And that second year, that's when everything happened.
But like that's another thing. Like I know that they want, because they get money.
Yeah, they
There's
do.
a budget
Mhm.
in the government for special education programs. The schools get money.
Mhm.
So I get that you don't want to lose the kids, but also, to what degree are you keeping these children or these people, not even children, we're talking about grown-ups, like,
Yeah,
how are you keeping them safe? You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So like, this is the problem that I have. Like, everything is so politicized that people are willing to sacrifice the safety of other people for a dollar. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that drives me nuts, because not my kid.
Right. And that's what we said. And even like the home care agency, when they were evaluating her, and we were trying to get like an increase of hours, because at this point now we're like, we're not sending her back. I don't know what you thought this was, but we're not sending her back. After that nonsense, yeah, we're not sending her back. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? So a nurse came in, did an evaluation, an assessment, and pretty much following up on her needs. And I'm like, yeah, but why isn't she in a adult day program? And I'm like, listen, sis, we put her in the smallest adult day program because there wasn't that many, like the population there. It was a small institution, and it's not that many adults there, young adults there, older adults there. Like, there's not that many of them there. So it's a controlled, and they still messed up. So no. My sister, like, having two strokes is not enough for you, for her to, like, that's not enough. So it was just they were really forcing, like, well, instead of her getting home care, she could probably be in this adult day program and then come out and then get her home care. I'm like, yeah, that no, that's not happening. She's not going unsupervised. And the thing is that as she progressed in age, her epilepsy progressed
Mm.
and has, got more aggressive. And it's something that we still continue to battle.
Mhm.
We just recently, like back in May of this year, she was hospitalized for like 2 weeks and a half.
Oh,
And it
I'm
was
sorry.
changing medication. So before she did that, before she was admitted, we were trying to she was on a cocktail of medications to help suppress her epilepsy because they were so reoccurring. And she was on a schedule, 5:30 a.m. That's when her day started. 5:30, 7, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m., 11 p.m. At 11 p.m.,
Wow.
after she took that final dose of medication, she was able to go to sleep, to just wake up again. And me and my mom will split up since I'm the one getting up early for work, I'll give her the morning meds before
Mhm.
going to work. You give her the night meds and the in between in the day because you're here with her. So it was, now she's down to twice a day, which is great, and it has been helping. But, like, something. It's always something. The way Young Miami, it's always something. It's always something. It is always something with her. So it's a constant battle, and a lot of people don't understand. My girl needs supervision. Like, you have to literally just stare at her because you don't know. You know how many times that she has sat here, like, I'm sitting where I'm sitting. This is where I've been working from home, and I sit here, and she sits right next to me, literally 6 feet. in her chair eating something. She catches something, and I don't catch. Like if I don't turn my head, she's falling on her face
Oh my
off a
god.
chair. And a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, yeah, but it's like humanly impossible for you to like stare at somebody. Like, no, it's not. It's just you have to, bro. Like she needs to be supervised.
Mm-hmm.
Even sitting down is dangerous for her.
Mm.
So a lot of people don't understand that.
I
So
know.
so it's a lot.
It is. But you guys are both lucky to have each other, like we said before. But I want to know more about Isa. Tell me what makes her sparkle. Like I know she's a little sassy little thing.
She's
so
very
tell
sassy.
me more about her. Like what is like
She,
what kind of things is she into?
she
tell me more
loves
about
music.
her.
She loves to dance. So her man is Romeo Santos. Like her Romeo, like put bachata on, and if it's a Friday, she's gonna say "Hoy se bebe." Like she's that person. Like and my sister, like she loves it. Ella le gusta la bulla, le gusta. She loves people over. She loves like the el can. She loves it, and she'll be like, "Hey, hey, hey!" Like she's the life of the party. She's the life. She likes her nails painted. She likes to be. She wants to smell good. She likes her perfume.
She's like really
Yeah, she's very girly.
Ooh.
Very, very girly. Very girly. She's like, "Oh, you like my hair? They just did it." And if they put in a doobie, she's like, "Oh, you like my little hat?" And it'll be her bonnet. She's like, "You like my little hat? It looks nice, right? It's new. Mommy got it for me." And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
I can't.
She's like, "Yeah."
I
like,
can't.
like she's real sassy.
No, wait,
And
my favorite was for her birthday because let me tell you,
yes.
Miss Isa did not come to play.
No, she did not. She did
Oh,
not. She did not
and the
come to play.
hair.
Everything.
I was like, okay, girl.
You gotta
let's
deck her
get
out.
it.
You gotta put her accessories on, her watch, or like
Ow.
her rings. Like she gotta be color coordinated. Like she be ready. She's something else. She loves it. Like
I
she
love
loves
that.
all
She has
that.
such a big personality.
She
I love
does.
watching her. Like she's so funny, and then singing with you and like
Yes.
being so affectionate. It just like really like it warmed my heart. I love seeing her.
Yes.
So Nemo, I know you take care of her and you work a lot.
Yes.
Like you're always working.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do for yourself to take care of yourself so that you can be able to pour into Isa and your mom? What do you do for self-care?
Um.
That's
lately I haven't really been doing much, but that's the thing. They it's like being here with them is a type of self-care. I go out, I do my every once in a while a little trip, a little weekend away or something to kind of reset, regroup, revise, revisit. Um but there's nothing more tranquil than my house. Like even with my sister being in the condition that she's in, and there's peace in my house. My house is very peaceful. Like anybody that comes to my house is like, yo, there's mad peace in here. Like, yes. And that's what we live by. Like this is
that's
literally right. Like we're very peaceful. We know how to respect each other's boundaries. Like my mom knows when I just want to chill and like lay back and watch a show or something. She'll be there on her tablet. My sister will be there chilling. Now put some music on. She'll sit there. She's like, "Yeah, I like that song," and like, like she's, if she hears an artist I like, she's like, "Oh, look, that's Jenny's man," So, um, so that's the thing. Like, they are my self care. Like they are my like they're all of that for me. I feel like sometimes when I'm away, I feel a little selfish. I feel like I don't know, like I need to be there, which is not healthy. It's not healthy to be like that. You can't guilt trip yourself for life, for life happening and you being a part of life because it's there. Because I feel that I don't want to say eventually, because I want to think that if there were to come a time that I do become sole care provider of my sister, that my life is not just going to stop, it won't be as socially active, but I feel that I could still keep some type of normalcy to my life, even though, you know? So I don't know. I just, I don't do much, girl. I just freaking work. I need to stop. Probably I need to stop working. Like I need to work less or something. If there's a sugar daddy listening to this podcast, please holler at me. I won't give you no sugar. I'll make you a cheesecake though. I'll make you a cheesecake though if you want some sugar. But
she'll give you diabetes.
right. Just put me in your will. You know.
Wait, I want to say that your 6-line dulce is like your baking is amazing. Guys, I got a flancocho from her last year and my family literally devoured it. I was feeling a certain kind of way because somebody ate more than they were supposed to. So I was about to go ham on that person. But yes, she has a very accomplished line of baking goods. She makes delicious desserts. And with that, Nemo, I won't call you Jenny because you're going to mess me up.
Thank
With that, we're gonna end the episode. Thank you so much for being so candid and so open, Nemo.
Thank you.
Comadres, remember, follow me at Comadreando Pod and follow Nemo on IG at
The Curl Plug Girl. Well, no, the Curl Plug. Just the Curl Plug. Not the Curl Plug Girl, just the Curl Plug. Sorry.
And
Make that clear.
And if you have any questions at all, remember, you guys can always send me a Comadre-Gram. If you want Nemo back, let me know. My email is comadreando@escthenetwork.com, or you could just send me a DM. Slide up into my DMs. And thank you for spending the evening with your comadres. Thank you, Nemo.
No, thank you, Marcy baby. I appreciate you so much for this. All right. Thank you guys for listening.
All right. Don't hang up.
Okay.